Hi, Bruno here. Welcome to Spainguru.
Are you thinking about moving to Spain or Portugal and you can't decide? Well, let us help you. This is Bruno from Spainguru.es and we're gonna go through one of the biggest surveys that has been done. More than 12,000 expats have answered many questions about 53 countries, and we're gonna be focusing especially in the comparison between Spain and Portugal so you can take an informed decision. We're also gonna look at the cost of living, we're gonna look at real estate, crime rates, etc. Let's go with it. The content of this video will be number 1, expats survey, cost of living, the visas that are available for expats, rent and sales prices, and the crime rate. This is a bonus from the previous video that we are adding here. So this video is based on the Internationals Expats Insider Survey 2023. Spainguru has no relationship whatsoever with Internationals. They are the owners and producers of this survey, and you can go to internationals.org. This is a very important and interesting network for expats or people who move abroad, so highly recommended that you go to internationals.org. So first of all, who responded this survey? So more than 12,000 expats responded this survey of 171 nationalities. The most common nationalities of the respondents were first of all USA, then UK, India, Germany and Italy, and about 50-50 were male versus female, about 46-year-olds average, okay, but about any age was covered in a certain percentage, started at 24 years old, and 82% average have university degree. 60% of the respondents were single and 20% of them already had kids. What were the expat survey analyzed factors? Well, there were 5. Quality of life, ease of settling in, working abroad, personal finance, and expat essentials. Each of these factors have a different set of more detailed rankings. Let's start with the first one, quality of life. As you can see on the right side, you have in blue, the first column has basically the main quality of life ranking that is composed of an average of different subsets or sub-factors. In this case, leisure options, travel and transit, healthcare, safety, security and environment, and climate. So all this together compose the quality of life factor. As you can see, in quality of life, Spain is first out of 53 countries, whereas Portugal is number 7. And if we go deeper into the sub-factors, leisure options, also Spain is number 1, whereas Portugal is 8. And travel and transit, Spain ranks number 10 out of 53 countries, and Portugal goes down to the 20th position, so not even in the top 10. In healthcare, Spain ranks extremely high at a number 4 position, whereas Portugal is even outside of the top 20 at a 25th position. Now with safety and security, Portugal ranks higher than Spain. We're gonna go deeper on that in one of the final slides, and Spain ranks number 13th, so out of the top 10, and losing against Portugal in safety and security. And in environment and climate, Portugal and Spain rank pretty closely. Portugal number 5 and Spain number 7, both on the top 10. Now let's go with the second analyzed factor, which is ease of settling in, composed by culture and welcome, local friendliness, and finding friends. So, in general, of ease of settling in, Spain ranks better than Portugal, but extremely close on a 12th position, and Portugal on a 13th position, so super close. In culture and welcome, Spain ranks higher than Portugal, number 6, and Portugal number 8, both in the top 10, whereas local friendliness, both countries go a little bit down out of the top 10, going Portugal on the 13th place and Spain on the 16th place. And finding friends, it seems to be the same in both countries, with Spain winning over Portugal with one position, being 14th place, and Portugal number 15. Overall, both countries are pretty good at ease of settling in. Now let's go with the third analyze factor, which is working abroad. And probably this is the analyze factor where both countries rank the lowest, unfortunately. Let's go with it, and as you know, on the first column you will find the working abroad general main factor, and as you can see, neither Spain or Portugal rank among the first 27. And if we go to the sub factors, only work and leisure, Spain is number 10, as people like the work-life balance in general that you can find in Spain, but neither in career prospects, salary, job security, and work culture and satisfaction you will find any of these countries. If we look on positions 28 to 53, we will find that in general Spain is better positioned. For example, in the general ranking of working abroad, Spain is number 34 and Portugal is number 43. There is a pretty big difference, but both rank pretty poorly. In career prospects, Spain is 36 and Portugal ranks 49, pretty close from the last position. Work leisure, as we said, Spain is in position number 10 and Portugal is in position 31. Very far away from Spain. And salary and job security, both countries rank pretty much the same, Spain 38 and Portugal 42. And work and culture and satisfaction, Spain is 31st and Portugal is number 34. Now, if we talk about the fourth analyze factor, personal finance, both Portugal and Spain rank decently high, over 53 countries. Portugal is higher than Spain on the 12th position and Spain is number 13th. And finally, the last of the analyze factors, expat essentials. Again, we will have to divide these rankings into the first 27 countries and from country 28 to 53, as you can see here. Going back, in expat essentials, in the first column to the left, you will find Spain number 16, much higher than Portugal, but we will find Portugal on the position 31 in expat essentials. Now let's go with the sub-factors here. Digital life, Spain is outside even the top 20 on the 21st position, and Portugal is 28 in digital life. If we go to admin topics, both Spain and Portugal are outside the first 27 countries. We will have to go to position 32 for Portugal and position 33 for Spain. In terms of housing, Spain is much better than Portugal, although outside the top 20. Position 21 for Spain, winning over Portugal on the 32 position in housing. If we go to language, we will find Spain in the 20th position and Portugal in the position number 31. So going deeper into the results for Spain and Portugal, and starting with Spain, we can see here on the bottom left a happiness level index where Spain is 87% compared to the global 72% in the survey of 53 countries, and the overall ranking is second out of 53 countries, which is, as you can see, very high. Now, if we go deeper into Portugal, we can find on the bottom left the happiness level. Portugal has a 85% happiness level compared to the 72% of the total survey, and the overall ranking of Portugal is 10th out of 53 countries, which is much lower than the previous survey that we had last year, where Portugal was ranked number 4. And if you want to watch the previous videos so you can compare the results of the previous survey with the new ones, please follow this link I will share with you right here. And I wanted to include also in general the top 10 countries that were a selection by the expats in this survey. You can find both Spain and Portugal into the ranking, Spain number 2 and Portugal number 10, as we said. And this is the bottom 10 list of countries in this survey. Now let's move to the second part of the video with the most important visas that are available for expats who would like to live in Spain or Portugal. And the first one is the non-lucrative visa, which is available in Spain and it's a very common visa. And then you have the golden visa that usually requires an investment, normally in real estate, and this is available in Spain at the moment. The digital nomad visa, in the previous video, this visa was not available and came out at the beginning of this year in 2023 and now has hundreds of new approved people who are under this visa that permits you to work remotely from within Spain, and the student visa, which has been available for many years. Now going to Portugal, we have the D7 or the non-lucrative visa version in Portugal. We also have the golden visa that is available too, and as we have covered in this channel, and I'm gonna be sharing here some links to different videos, there are important movements from the government to ban this program, and it could happen that in the following years or even months this golden visa program disappears, unfortunately, for Portugal. Then you have the digital nomad visa that was approved in October 2022 that is available too, and of course a student visa as well. Now let's move to the next thing that I wanted to compare between Portugal and Spain, which is the cost of living. And here I'm using Numbeo. Numbeo is a website that I highly recommend you to see. Basically, people will go into the website and input different costs of things. For example, the rental of a studio apartment or the cost of a burger in McDonald's, and Numbeo will consolidate all this information in a way that is easy to read. This is my personal calculation out of data of Numbeo, and I'm comparing here Portugal and Spain. As you can see, the cost of living index of Numbeo for both countries is pretty close, being Spain a little bit higher than Portugal with 50 versus 47, and the average rent index. This is interesting because this is something that has happened especially in the last months or years. In Portugal, rentals have been increasing quite a lot, especially in big cities like Lisbon or Porto, and Spain ranks lower than Portugal with 21 versus 24. And actually, if you take the cost of living plus rent index, you will find a very interesting number that Spain is below Portugal in this sense, with Portugal with 36.01 versus Spain 35.93, although pretty close in general, both of the two countries. And a lot of people like me love this comparison, this metric, which is the cost of a Mac meal, a Big Mac, a Coca-Cola and fries. The price difference between the two countries, it is pretty close. As you can see, Spain is 8 euros versus Portugal 7 euros. This is an average for the whole country. It will depend, of course, where you are, and the different stores will have potentially different prices, but it is always interesting to see. And now I'm gonna go here to the right corner so I don't bother you, so you can see all the details. This is something that I downloaded from Numbeo to Excel so I could compare, and I consolidated the comparison of the different cities, because of course the country as an average can, you know, be cheap or expensive, but what it really matters is the cities. In my opinion, you need to be more granular, because there are cities that are very expensive compared to other cities that are very cheap in the same country, and it may be interesting to know those differences. And also I wanted to share with you the comparison between year 2022 and 2023, as you know, everywhere in the world there has been a lot of inflation, so things have really changed. So let's see the data of 2023. Again, Barcelona is number 1, but Lisbon, who was number 3, moved to position number 2. We are always ranking here using the cost of living plus the rent index, okay? Bilbao moved from the 4th position to the 3rd position in Spain. Cascais went up from the 6th position to the 4th position, and Palma de Mallorca more or less stayed the same. But as you can see, Lisbon, the impact of increase of rentals have had. Also, another thing that strikes me a little bit is how Madrid went down from the 2nd position to the position number 6, which makes it a very interesting city to move to. An important impact in this ranking. And Malaga, the city where I live, has experienced a very high increase in rentals prices, and that has had a lot of impact, going to the next position right after Madrid. Also, in general, if you look at the last columns, you can see that in 2022 the most expensive have a 44 number of index, and the lowest Coimbra had 28.73. But if you look at 2023, right here, the cheapest went from 28.73 to 31.2, and the most expensive Barcelona went from 44 roughly to 45. So there was a general increase of cost of living plus rental index in all the cities in the Iberian Peninsula. Now let's go to real estate. This is the next thing I wanted to talk with you about. This is the price per square meter in terms of property rentals, and this data comes from Idealista. Both Idealista.com and Idealista.pt will provide this data. And as you can see, the most expensive rental prices for the different provinces in Spain, you can find them in Madrid, Barcelona, and the Donostia San Sebastián part of Basque country, and also the Balearic Islands, right? Valencia province also has increased quite a lot their prices. And as you can see here, this scale goes from 5 euros per square meters to 17 euros per square meters per month. Now, if we talk about the sales price, from a scale from 751 euros per square meter to nearly 4,000 euros per square meter. There are changes in the map. Still the Balearic Islands very high, Malaga again high, Madrid high, Barcelona goes a little bit down, Barcelona province here, but Basque country continues to be the most expensive, and in general the interest from buying houses is around the coast of the Mediterranean Sea, as well as we observe for the rentals. Now if we go to Portugal and we talk about rental prices, euros by square meters, as you can see here, the scale goes from 5 euros to 17 euros per square meters per month, and the most expensive areas are Lisbon and Porto in the north, and in the south we have Algarve. There are some areas, as you can see, that we don't have enough data, that are generally the areas that are next to Spain, or closest to the Spanish border. Now if we move to the sales prices, euros by square meters, you can see here that we have more data. All the provinces in Portugal show data. Of course, the ones closest to the Spanish border are the cheapest ones, but there are some interesting things that I see. For example, Algarve, as you can see, it is an expensive area to buy. It seems to be more expensive to buy than to rent, but I observed the opposite case for Porto. If I go here to sales, as you can see, the green is not that strong, but if I go to the rentals in the Porto area, it is darker. So it seems that renting in Porto is more expensive, let's say, than buying property, which is something interesting to observe. Of course, Lisbon, it is very expensive either to rent and to buy. It just became the mecca for many people who were searching for an affordable place to live, and the prices have gone up a lot in the last years. And it seems that Lisbon is a little bit saturated, but of course it is one of the most interesting cities where you could live in Europe. And now for the final part of the video, this is an interesting metric that I wanted to see with you, which is the crime rate comparison. And in general, I have to say that Portugal and Spain are very secure and safe countries where you can generally walk at night, walk alone, and nothing will happen to you. As you can see here, both level of crimes here of Portugal and Spain are low, as described by Numbeo. with 27 versus 34.3, so pretty close, although we have to point out that Spain has a higher general level of crime than Portugal. Apparently, people are observing that there is an increase of crime in both countries, but in general the conclusion is that both countries are still pretty safe. In conclusion, if you haven't watched the previous video of the comparison between Spain and Portugal, you probably didn't know that Spain has improved several positions, going from the 5th position out of 53 countries to the 2nd position. In general, expats are valuing a lot the quality of life that you find in Spain and the relationship between work and leisure time, whereas Portugal unfortunately has gone down from the 4th position to the 10th position in this ranking. Now, if you are looking to move to Spain, you can join Spainguru's community. We have 3 very important Facebook groups with more than 30,000 members, and of course you can go to Spainguru.es and you can find several services and a lot of information that can help you out moving to Spain.
Join Spainguru's community today. You can join our general Spanish immigration group and our dedicated groups for Spanish non-lucrative visa and Spanish digital nomad visa. Our groups together have more than 30,000 members. If you need expert professional advice, we got you covered. Just head to Spainguru.es and check out our top menu. You'll find immigration experts, relocation agencies, tax advisors for Spanish and US filings, sworn translators, apostille services, consulate appointment services, and health insurance providers for all types of Spanish visa applications. That includes non-lucrative visa, golden visas, student visas, and digital nomad visas, as well as medical certificates for visa applications and travel health insurance. Finally, I highly recommend you join our weekly newsletter, which we send out every single Monday morning. You'll get tons of information, questions and answers, featured blog posts, and news updates. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.